I decided to take myself out on a little walk today because sometimes the energies feel a little bit too big to hold me in the house. There's a lot going on in the cosmos. You know, it's not just the eclipse seasons that have been big. Mars went retrograde. That's really big, and we'll talk about that. And then, you know, there are all these planets together. Mercury, the Sun, and Venus are hanging out together right on this, you know, node, the south node eclipse that we just had. They're all hanging out really close. And this week, you know, we're going to add Uranus and Saturn into the mix. They're going to be opposing Uranus and squaring Saturn. And you know, we can look at life in a lot of different ways, and sometimes when I think that we're faced with like a really big challenge, that it's really important to look at how the energy that may or may not be hard is making us grow. And the first way, and why I think this is such a hard eclipse season right now, and why I think we're all struggling, at least I know I am, is that we all are just so full of our own shit. Like literally and metaphorically. We're all so full of what ails us that I think that this eclipse season and this Mars retrograde is here to tell us that it's time to release like some of these blockages, that what we've been doing no longer serves us. And, you know, I think the problem with that is that when it's time to give up something that we've been doing for a really long time, like a defense mechanism, or how we're viewing ourselves, or how we're viewing our daily lives and rituals and stuff, that can be really triggering. You know, I love the line, you can't be triggered if you aren't loaded. And I think a lot of us are walking around, you know, pretty darn loaded. So when Mars goes retrograde, it's like this big retrospective into all of these blockages, like what we're holding on to, what we're keeping safe in order to keep ourselves safe, you know, our traumas, our past coming back to haunt us. You know, these eclipses and this Mars retrograde is showing us so much. The things that we don't really want to shift or change because that would be so uncomfortable. Look at, I brought my teeny tiny little deck with me on my walk. And that's how I've been feeling, you know, it's like the same ways that I used to nurture myself and make myself feel better aren't working, you know? And so we change it up. We bring our little deck on little walks. And really, what I really wish as a collective we could all start doing is sitting with our own blockages. Because really there are these amazing opportunities to see where we're hiding inside of ourselves, you know? It's really interesting when we're walking down the street, each one of us is having our own unique experience with our inner world, our inner blockages, our inner ouch. You know, we can see a cat and that will either spark good memories or bad memories in each one of us. And that's what is a blockage. You know, it's like the way that we see the world is the way that we keep ourselves safe too. So today's astrology comes with like a little bit of homework. You know, there is no one coming to save us, guys. There is no warrior coming to fight the fight for us. There's no one coming to solve what our blockages are and why. It's just us. It's just us in here banging around. And I think that we're in a really acute time of not being able to ignore ourselves anymore, of not being able to run away from the things that are triggering or hurting inside. And so it's an invitation this week. It's an invitation to go out on a walk. It's an invitation to really look inside yourself. Because so many of us right now are feeling so unhappy. And the answer is, I don't know what I need to be better. I don't know what's wrong. I don't understand why, you know, these bad things keep happening to me. And it's like, well, that's because there is no teaching. There's nothing I can say that's going to pull you out of yourself. You have to go inside yourself and look at, you know, am I walking around triggered most of the day? Am I walking around with my heart open or closed? you know, and there's a really big difference between an open mind and a closed mind and an open heart and a closed heart. One follows the other often, but I think a lot of the day we're spending in a very mercurial state, in a very thought-based reality. And I think what is so uncomfortable about this period of time is that we're not as able to close off what's going on in our heart and in the beats of what is making us feel the way we're intrinsically feeling like something needs to change, but we don't know what. And how frustrating and how confusing and how like hard it is to be in life with other people right now, feeling like there's so much that needs to change without any idea or tools on how to change it. And I think what that is that we're all just so tired of ourselves. We're all so tired of living in a world where we don't understand ourselves. And so we're making these defense mechanisms and we're blaming each other and we're overtired. And, you know, it's whoever works the hardest is the winner. And really what we need to start doing is the inner work. It's time now, and it's fall and going into winter, so it's the perfect time to have these walks and watch how the seasons change and watch how the rain renews things and watch how the sun dries things out, and we can be our own ecosystems inside of ourselves. And there's storms around astrologically, you know, there's a lot of big lessons happening right now, and I think what's really important is understanding that storms are good. Understanding that destruction is important, understanding that loss means something, understanding that the way in which we operate is for a reason. And like, bless those reasons, bless our defense mechanisms that keep us safe. But now is the time to learn these really big lessons and make really big changes. Like not little ones, like really, really big ones. And that's really overwhelming, you know, and I think even more so when we realize that the change that needs to happen is inside of ourselves, is that this Mars retrograde might bring up a lot of anger. It might bring up a lot of unresolved feelings. It might bring up a lot of hurt or a lot of ways in which we weren't treated right or nicely. And really the solution doesn't exist in anything but yourself. The solution only exists in the weather forecast in here, not out there, you know? Some people love the rain, some people hate the rain. And that to me is such a beautiful example of how we are all living out our own like soul's creation every day here together, but different. Together, but different. And that's why nobody else can solve your problem. That's why there's no class you can take. There's no anything else that's going to solve what's coming up right now. It really is this fortification of no matter what happens, there's always a light inside myself. And no matter what happens, there's always a person inside myself. You know, when we're lonely and we want the love of our lives and then we start dating thinking that's what we're going to find, that's not always what we find. You know, if we're looking for the love of our lives because we're lonely, then really it's more about why are you lonely, not about meeting the love of your life, right? I feel like most of the people I know, the more success, money, power, relationship, home, whatever they have, the more listless they become because it becomes so outer surface, becomes so outer world, when really it's this big ask. And I know that it's big, but it's a really big ask to look inside yourself and listen to the nature sounds inside you to find really what the mechanism is that needs to change, that needs to get better. And listen, these are habits that we've had our entire life. These aren't easy to change. It's not easy to change in general, but like our very intrinsic patterns aren't easy. But I do feel this shift, like it's a big ask, asking you to change something, you know, and at this very moment, the moon is trining Venus. How beautiful is that? This beautiful Piscean moon in this moment that I'm talking to you right now, which you'll probably watch later, but whatever, is trining the Venus, which is love and beauty and partnership and all of these things. But instead of the beauty and the partnership and the things outside of ourselves, let's find the beauty and the partnership and the change inside of ourselves, right? Because that's really what's going to make us heal from the inside out. Like there's no more running around the issue. There's no more outside resources. We've used them all. Now it's time to see what's really going on inside of ourselves. Ooh, and look at what comes up. Look at how beautiful that is. It's the whole world waiting for us. It's time to start seeing that we are our own best opportunity. We are our own helpers in this life, and that there is no other person that is going to come and do that for us. There's only people that are going to enhance it, or people that are going to challenge it. And that's the beauty part about living life, is that life is easy sometimes and challenging other times. But the thing that never changes is your relationship to you. Like, you are always going to have you. I mean, let me get that straight. Yes, our relationship to us changes, but our relationship ongoing with self is forever. You can't say that about many other people. Everybody else moves on, passes, all kinds of things happen. And really the gift is ourselves. It's ourselves. That's my message for you today. As anger comes up, frustration, tiredness, irritation, all of it comes up. Really look to yourself. What can I change today? What can I do right now? Go on a walk. What can I do tomorrow? Go to a fitness class. What can I do the next day? Journal. What can I do tonight? Listen to music. Pisces and Venus. Moon is in Pisces. Trining Venus. Hells yeah. Bubble bath. Music. Water. Crying. Let it go. Let it go. Whatever is in there, let it come out and let it go, and then reflect and shift. Not outside, inside. Let the world move you, and then you'll move the world. It's all there for us, all of it. Sometimes we just need to take a walk.